we should have at least 5 or 6 well-balanced meals. And we should eat food with fiber, drink at least 10 glasses of water, and increase folic acid, iron, and calcium-rich foods. I would like to emphasize on the last three that I mentioned, folic acid, iron, and calcium-rich foods. Why? Because these are critical for the formation of the child. When it comes to folic acid, this is important rather for the birth of your baby, because if we lack in folic acid, there's a possible chance of a low birth weight and premature delivery of the baby. And we don't want that. Next also is iron for the formation of red blood cells of the baby, and also calcium-rich foods for our bones and for the teeth of the baby. Some examples are written here. Unfortunately, the light is too bright, so I'll just mention a few. When it comes to folic acid, there are some foods that are rich in folic acid, such as dark green leafy vegetables. When it comes to calcium, you have your milk, your cheese. And when it comes to iron, you have also your dark green leafy vegetables. And as you can see in the picture. Other guidelines are getting adequate sleep. Why? Because once the baby is out, you cannot sleep anymore. You always have to wake up, taking care of the baby. Who are the mothers here? Can I see a raise of hands? There. So, mothers, have you experienced sleeping well after the baby? Yeah, so at least during pregnancy, we can practice already, get that enough sleep. Also, exercise. Why? Because if you don't get to exercise, you can feel your body aching, your back pains. So this is really beneficial. There are some exercises for pregnant women that are not that strenuous. Next is avoiding fish and seafood high in mercury, because when you eat certain foods high in mercury, they can cause brain damage to the baby. So it's best to avoid it. And when it comes to avoiding caffeine, alcoholic beverages, and avoiding smoking, this is really beneficial, not just for you and for the baby, but to have our optimum health and to continue that good lifestyle. Why? Because when we avoid the caffeine, alcoholic beverages, and smoking, we prevent the low birth weight of the baby, and also it provides proper nutrition for our fetus, for the fetus of the mother rather. And so the next period would be breastfeeding infants. Alright. So as some guidelines, it is best not to skip meals. Why? Because you need the nutrients for yourself and also for your baby. So it's very important to have that energy to breastfeed. Also, it is still good to have a well-balanced meal, having your fruits, your vegetables, your rice, your protein, your water, and also breastfeeding from birth up to 2 years of age, especially exclusively for 6 months. Why? Because the breast milk of the mother is already complete in the nutrients that the infant needs rather. So you don't need to add your vegetables within the 6 months of the baby. You don't have to add water because the breast milk is sufficient enough. Not only that, but it helps the mom, as with the big tummy, it helps the mom breastfeeding shrink it faster. So you have a fitter body. And also when it comes to breastfeeding, it's more, in terms of pricing, it's cheaper than the commercial products. You don't have to buy anything, and it's very convenient. You can do it anywhere, and even in the malls, especially in the malls, as you can see, there are some places where they have breastfeeding or lactation stations. So at least there, they allow the mothers to breastfeed their infants everywhere. Okay, questions that we often hear, such as, I have diabetes, I have hypertension, can I still breastfeed my baby? Yes, in fact, you can still breastfeed your baby. It's not going to affect him or her. But though there are some medical conditions that we have to take into consideration, such as breast cancer, HIV, active tuberculosis, illicit drug use, and especially mothers who are addicted to alcohol and smoking, it is not recommended for breastfeeding because it can harm the child. All right. So next up is the next period of The next period or in the next life stage is when the baby grows up 2 years old to 12 years old and becomes a child. All right. You can now introduce certain food items. So this is what we call our complementary feeding after 6 months. But let's not give our baby all the fried chicken, all those salads. We should just introduce one food item at a time. Because if we introduce too much food items, it can overwhelm our child. Next is we should focus on natural food. What do we mean by natural food? We can focus on our vegetables, which is very important, our fruits, instead of those that are too processed, rather. And having regular family meals. Why? Because it's fun to just be with your child, talk about how your child has been, their day. It can really help stimulate that bonding also. And when it comes to children, it is very recommended that they get involved when it comes to preparing snacks. What do we mean by that? Grocery shopping. Take your kids grocery shopping. They can help in choosing certain food, and also when it comes to preparing meals, so that way they know that, oh, I prepared this meal, I want to eat it. I want to taste what I cook. So that can also engage them in terms of their nutrition. There. And there are a lot of children who are picky eaters. And I'm sure even the mothers, when they were children, they were also picky eaters. And I myself, when I was really young, I too was a picky eater, and I was always scolded by my parents to eat this, eat that, which in turn really benefited me in the long run. So what are some tips that we can suggest for mothers when dealing with picky eaters? We should stick to the routine. What do you mean by sticking to the routine? We should have our breakfast, our morning snack, our lunch, our afternoon snack, and our dinner all the time, so that the kid knows that at this certain time he can eat, and he won't get so confused in the next few days. Next, be patient with your child when it comes to new food. We cannot automatically say, eat this, this is new, I want you to eat it, and no excuses. It's really difficult. I mean, what we have to do is really just introduce it. If your child does not want to eat it, then it's okay. The next day or the next meal, you can reintroduce the food until such a time that the child will start eating it. So we just really have to be patient. Also, being creative. Why? Take, for example, vegetables. Vegetables are really difficult for kids to eat. So what can we do about that? We can incorporate it in their favorite food items. We can put it little by little until they find that momentum and also start eating that food item. Also, one of which is really setting a good example. We can't tell our child to eat properly or get the proper nutrients if we ourselves don't want to eat that certain food. So with milk, you say that you're a growing kid, you have to drink milk, but you yourself, you're not drinking milk. As a kid, mothers are a big influence on their lives, in their lives rather. So what we have to do is really show them how we want them to eat. So it's not just benefiting your child, but it's also benefiting you as well. My mom and dad always says, no TV. Why? Because when you have TV in the house, what happens? You're too focused on the TV. You're not focused on your food. And then in turn, you don't get to eat anything. And so you don't get to get the nutrients that you need. So it's really good to minimize those distractions, as well as quarreling in the dining table. That's also a distraction that can prohibit the intake of your child with the food. All right. And one of which is also another tip is, let's not prepare separate food for our kids, for your kids rather. What do you mean by that? You have baked fish, and your child says, I want fried chicken. And then you prepare fried chicken for your kid. What does that mean? In the long run, they will get used to always asking for a different type of food. They won't eat what's on the table. So it's really good to just let them eat the food that is there. And then in turn, in the long run, it's really going to be beneficial. All right? Okay, so I just want to show, take for example, a kid here. he really does not want to eat any vegetables. How can we help this kid? We can make our foods creative. We can have colorful plates, design it. It can engage the child to eat that certain food. Do How many mothers have other ideas with regards to being creative with their food items? Those who raise their hands, mommies, would you like to share? There, ma'am. Yes.
Lot of kids kasi don't eat vegetables. So ang ginagawa ko, the carrots is ginigrade ko. Kina-crush ko yung veggies, yung mga carrots, or something yung mga tomato. Then yung hindi nila makikita, hinahalo ko like yung hamburger, kinakrab ko doon sa hamburger. Then yung hamburger, may veggies siya. So hindi makikita ng kids na nakain nila yung vegetable. Dinudurog ko talaga siya.
That's a very good tip. At least nakukuha nila nutrients nila without knowing actually. Any other tips that they would like to share with the other mothers?
Kasi maliliit pa sila, yung mga kids ko, yung broccoli, sinishake ko siya, tsaka sinasama ko ng carrots para maano.
And thank you. Yes, that's also a good way para maging shake siya. You can also have ice candy with it. Lots of different ways. So we really just have to be creative. Alright, now next up are teenagers. So pag teenagers talaga matitigas ang ulo, no? Pero ako hindi naman ako matigas ang ulo. Mabait ako. Alright. So what are some guidelines that we can have when it comes to teenagers? When it comes to teenagers, ano yan? Lagi nagsa-cellphone, lagi nagti-TV, so they sleep late. When they sleep late, they wake up late. And then they don't have enough time to eat their breakfast. They have to go to school right away. And so with that, we really have to train them as early as when they were children, younger children, to really have that 5 meals a day. Because if you train them properly, then in the long run, they would still want to look for that breakfast and not skip meals. Also drinking water, especially now, it's summer, it's really hot. We really have to hydrate ourselves to avoid any dizziness and healthy snacks as well. So when it comes to healthy snacks, what are some healthy snacks? Such as sandwiches. You can have sandwiches or baked potatoes. So there are lots of healthy snacks that we can have instead of just always referring to chips, always just referring to cookies. Yeah. And also it's good to promote regular physical activity. Why? Because it's a good way to release your energy. So you're not just eating, but you're also exercising, which is good for our lifestyle. Okay? And there are some problems such as irregular meals and snacking. So like what I mentioned a while ago, it's really good to have time management. That they really have to wake up early to eat. And proper food choices. They're always out. They want to go hang out with their friends. Where do they go? Where do they eat? We don't know. But then when they go home, it's good to prepare prepare home-cooked meals. Something that they will really look forward to. And also, the dining should be relaxing. Why? Because the dining should really be, when it comes to eating with your family, it should really be enjoyable, and we don't want any quarrels, because when we have those quarrels, when you scold your children during the dining table, what happens? They may not want to eat anymore. They'll just feel down and they won't get the nutrients that they need. So it's really good if you're going to scold them, better do it after the eating session. Yeah. And also budgeting. So people say, healthy snacks. Okay, but they're also expensive. What am I supposed to do? Well, you can have home garden. So if you have a garden in the house, it's good to plant your own food crops and plan low-cost meals. So really planning of food is really helpful. You can plan for one whole week, know the food items that you can get, and with a certain budget. Also, it's good to have nutrient-dense food. What do you mean by that? Meaning instead of going for those empty calorie chips, it's good to have that shake that one of the mothers mentioned, a shake with vegetables and fruits. So let's aim for those that are good snacks but have the right nutrients for our growth. Also, when we have your school, your work, it's good to bring baon or your home cooked meals so that it's already prepared in the house, you already budgeted for it. So at least the person or the child doesn't have to go out and buy food. So that's another cost. Their looks. They're saying, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, what do I do? And then they follow all those fat diets. We really, as mothers, you have to encourage your children or teach them the right types of foods to eat. Having a balanced diet with your fruits, your vegetables, your rice, your protein, and your water as well. And just let them know of the consequences that they are taking. So take, for example, all those fat diets. They don't know what it's all about. They just want to do it because their friend is doing it as well. Just let them know, educate them of the consequences that may arise, such as a certain diet. Take, for example, a vegan diet. For this person, she really wants just to have all vegetables. No protein, no protein. So I'm a friend, okay, I want to copy you. But then I can't handle it. I feel so sluggish. So you just really have to tell your child of those consequences. This is what we call our body mass index. It's a computation of your height for your weight to know if you are in the normal or healthy level. So as you can see, the computation is weight in kilograms over or divided by the height in meters squared. So for those who use pounds, I put the conversion there. 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds and 1 inch is 0.254 meters. I know, math na naman yan, ang hirap. But at least you're more, you can be aware and you can use the internet or the conversion tables if you want. Alright, so just for an example, say your child is 5 feet and 60 inches. 5 feet or 60 inches and their weight is 45 kilograms. When we compute it and divide the weight for the height, we can get 19.4. Ano yung 19.4? Anong gagawin ko dun? Well, we have the chart. This is what we call our BMI chart. And you can see here, if you can see with the light, there. The 19.4 falls under the healthy weight. So there's a range of 18.5 to 24.9 as the healthy weight. So when you get to compute at home, you can see if you are underweight, healthy weight, overweight, or obese. Okay? So far, tapos na po tayo sa math. We can move on to the next one. 3 very important words to remember. This can really help in terms of proper nutrition. So if you want to reach that healthy weight, be in that range, we have to follow moderation. Moderation, what do you mean by this? You can have your chips, you can have your sweets, but let's just not have too much of it. What do we mean by that? You can have 1 bar of chocolate for the week. Let's just not have 5 bars of chocolate for the week. Okay? So really, it's in moderation. Next is variety. What do you mean by variety? You have your vegetables, okay, you have your lettuce. Pero puro na lang kayo lettuce ng lettuce, hindi na kayo nagbabago. Dapat meron din tayong carrots, meron din tayong kalabasa. So all those are really helpful kasi one food does not have all the nutrients. So we really have to explore. Ang daming pagkain dito. Ayun, dito pa nga lang, ang dami ng pagkain eh. So we really have to explore and vary our food choices. Next is balance. When we balance, ano sa isip natin yung parang weighing scale. Okay. So balance means you have to have your fruits, you have to have also your vegetables, but let's not forget our protein, meron din kayo yung mga rice or bread, and also yung mga milk sources, yung milk or water. Dapat balance lagi yan. Because if you're out of balance, you won't get the right nutrients. And also, that can lead to different diseases and other complications such as that. What do you mean by food intolerance? Yan ba yung allergy? No. Ang food allergy kasi, pag bata ka pa lang, alam mo na, pag kumain siya ng shrimp, nag-hive siya, ibig sabihin, allergic siya dyan. So, pag pinagbabawalan niya na. Ang food intolerance are developed through overconsumption of a food item kapag walang variety at paulit-ulit na lang. So dapat talaga moderation, variety, and balance. Ang difference kasi ng food allergy sa food intolerance are as follows. Yung food allergy, ayun nga, pag may kinain kayong pagkain, life-threatening siya, nakakatakot na ayaw nyo na siyang kainin. And not only that, pero after a few minutes, lalabas na agad lahat ng mga symptoms na yon. But when it comes to food intolerance, the symptoms are not as life-threatening, but they prohibit you from doing your daily activities. May migraines kayo, bloatedness, may irritable bowel syndrome, yung tipo may constipation kayo. There are lots of factors that can prohibit you from doing your work, and that's some of the symptoms of food intolerance. At ayaw naman natin yun. So we really have to practice that moderation, variety, and balance. And not only that, but when it comes to food intolerance, you can reverse it. So hindi siya forever. Kunyari, you took a test to know your food intolerance. You find out you're intolerant to milk, cow's milk. So paano yun? Forever ka na bawal sa cow? No. We just have to eliminate it for at least 3 months. See how it goes. Talk to your dietitian, your nutritionist dietitian. Find out how to go about your process of elimination. And when you reintroduce that food item, you may feel better, mas magaan, na kunyari dati nagme-milk kayo, you get dizzy, you feel nauseous. Pero kapag natanggal nyo na yun, you have your moderation, your variety, and balance, then there's a possibility when you take that milk, hindi nyo na mafe-feel yung mga headaches na yon. Ayan. Proper nutrition for the mothers and for their children. This is the pinggang Pinoy. This is how our plate should look like. Pero yung pagkain, mas masarap naman siguro kapag kayo nagluto. Ayan. So, basta remember, with your plate, you have to have your vegetables. You have to have your fruits. You should also have your protein, such as yung mga fish, yung chicken, and also yung go food ninyo, or yung mga rice, bread. And let's also not forget to mention yung water. Kung nakikita nyo dyan, yung water na yan, that's how we should have our daily meals. Dapat laging kompleto yan if we want to achieve our optimal health and really get that proper nutrition that we need. Okay po? So, since tomorrow is Mother's Day, I would like to thank all the mothers here for your guidance to your children and for us also, so that in the future, even your children can be guided accordingly for their own children, for their proper nutrition. So thank you.